I am the Sunday Pilot and welcome back to another Sim Sunday, and today we're in Porto, Portugal's second largest city, and we're preparing for the 6 a.m. TAP Air Portugal service from here in Porto across to the island of Madeira. This virtual flight was made in mid-January 2021, so the sim time was set accordingly, and I'm using live weather from Active Sky with Active Sky Cloud Art installed as well as usual. Today's flight is due to take around 2 hours in an Airbus A319. Of course, I'm using the Aerosoft Airbus A319 in prepared 3D version 4.5. Jumping straight into sim brief, we're due to depart on runway 17 here at Porto with a very straightforward flight across the Atlantic to Madeira. Tenerife North is our alternate today. And that, guys, is a complete coincidence, because if you look back at the last video, the real Airbus pilot is flying a Zibo 737-800 of Air Europa from Madrid to Tenerife North. Just go back one video and you'll see that flight in X-Plane. Okay, this departure is going to be in the dark at 6 a.m. on a January. It is pitch black in Porto, Portugal. So let's get this little Airbus A319 powered up and underway to Madeira.
Aerosoft 1711 is clear to Madeira Airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain altitude 7,000. Departure frequency is 121.1, squawk 7226.
Captain, the cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard.
Porto Ground, Wisconsin 1181 with information Juliet. Ready taxi 0 when ready.
Set parking brakes.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Unlocking gear. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Airport 1711, taxi holding point for runway 17, via taxiway Foxtrot, runway 17, contact tower on 118.0 when ready.
At Porto runway 17, there's a little bit of a back taxi to be done. At this time of the morning in the real world, the traffic is actually quite busy, and Ultimate Traffic Live version 1.2 is generating plenty of traffic this morning, causing a very slight delay to our departure.
Portugal 17, climb and maintain altitude 11,000. Departure frequency is 121.1, squawk 0214. Air Portugal 452, clear to Porto Airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climb
Approaching.
and maintain altitude 11,000. Departure on 121.1, squawk 0214.
Porto
On
Ground,
runway
Air
17.
Flight request taxi IFR.
Air Portugal 452, correct. Contact ground on 118.0. Air Portugal 1711, cleared for takeoff. Runway 17, surface wind 114 at 7.
To be honest guys, there's really not a lot else to show you of the initial part of this flight out of Porto in Portugal en route towards Madeira. The sun of course would be rising behind us, and therefore it would be at least another hour until it was up. And that's why I'm going to jump forward now till just before the descent phase into Madeira. You heard it, that is us being vectored towards ILS runway 5 at Madeira, and that's the first interesting point I should be making. The real Airbus pilot checked his Japesian charts for me, and there is absolutely no ILS in the real world at Madeira. Also, those of you who have been around aviation and the sim world for a number of years will know that Madeira is one of the top 10 most difficult airports to land at, and carries an AR status, or an Authorisation Required status. Only those pilots who are certified are allowed to make this approach into this tricky little airport. Anyway, for Sunday pilots like me, it is probably a good thing that Aerosoft, the manufacturer of the scenery that will be arriving in Madeira shortly, have provided an ILS, or should I say an offset ILS, into runway 05, making it slightly easier for us novices. Ultimate Traffic 1, or should I say Ultimate Traffic version 1.2 that I've got installed and running today, has spawned up the incoming TAP Air Portugal Airbus from Lisbon to Madeira. While the initial part of this approach is certainly in IMC conditions, you can clearly see this other aircraft showing up in the TCAS. And that's why I needed to make a number of S-turns, providing some decent separation between me and the aircraft in front. Okay, time for me to shut up and go into quiet cockpit configuration and get on with this approach into Madeira.
Airport
2,500.
cleared to land. Runway 5, Air Portugal 1711.
1,000. Hundred above. Minimum 500. $400. 300. 200, 140, 30, retard, retard.
So taking another look at this landing from the outside perspective, the fictional ILS provided by the Aerosoft Madeira Evolution scenery provides a pretty good offset approach to runway 05. As you can see, I'm first vectored towards the cliffside on the east side of Madeira. The coast road and bridges clearly visible. You can also hopefully see the flashing lights on the cliffside, and it was roughly at this point that I disengaged the autopilot and took manual control for that final turn towards final. This is only the second time that I've ever made this approach in flight sim, and I think I did a pretty reasonable job at it, especially as I'm only a Sunday pilot. My first attempt being in an EasyJet Airbus A320 Neo of Aerosoft, and I believe it is somewhere on YouTube in the short final series. Anyway, this is a pretty interesting approach for anyone in flight sim wanting a little bit of a challenge. As you can see from the tower view as I make that final turn towards the runway, there is a little bit of a wobble. Of course, I would like to think that that was caused by crosswind as I approached that pretty severe cliff and mountain range just outside the airport perimeter. But to be honest guys, I think it was probably just my inexperience and overcompensating. But even if I do say so myself, I think I nailed it at the end. And I managed to get this little Aerosoft Airbus A319 in the livery of TAP Air Portugal onto the deck. And pretty smoothly, if I do say so myself. We certainly have arrived at our destination, the gorgeous and the challenging Madeira International Airport. And as I complete my after landing checklist while I taxi to the stand, it is time to bring another episode of Sim Sunday to a close. And if you thought that approach was challenging, wait until you see the next video, because the real Airbus pilot is going to show us all how to land at the world's most difficult, most challenging airport at Paro in Bhutan, nestled in the Himalayan mountains. He tells me that there are only 17 pilots in the world certified to land at that tricky, or should I say most difficult, approaches. And I've already seen some of the unedited footage of his attempt to land at Paro in Bhutan. So you know what to do if you don't want to miss that next episode of Sim Sunday. Yes guys, click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon for notification. So until then, thanks for watching and safe flying.